like moved out.
I didn't feel like I was coming home to my wife.
To me, it feels like David is like 10 years behind me.
Have you called her an ass?
When you act like an ass, that's what you get called.
Look at the positive. Look at the butterfly. It was positive.
Broken, you did that.
I don't want to hear that.
I didn't do it. You did. I'm being with you now.
The time has come for you to decide.
Do you want to stay married or get a divorce?
This is Married at First Sight.
People, welcome back. We had a hot shindig showdown last episode. This episode is entitled "She Said and Then He Fled." It's season 18, episode 11. Why are you making faces already?
Straight from the gate.
I can't even get the fucking title of the episode out.
Straight from the gate. Because I already know who the one that fled, and it's just my asshole.
All right, so this is the aftermath of the anniversary showdown. We are now 26 days left before D-Day, aka Decision Day, which is probably, one of me and Isha's favorite parts of the show is Decision Day, or what we like to call D-Day. I would like to go to D-Day right now with a couple motherfuckers. But I want to say that, like I was saying, this episode has me triggered in a multitude of ways. That's what I wanted to tell you. 20 minutes, I was watching the screen. 20 minutes into the episode, I was triggered. I was right at the 20-minute mark. I said, no. Y'all not about to play with me today. Oh, 20 minutes into the episode, I felt triggered. And all these things started being reflected. And I seen, I heard, I experienced all of these things. And it's just like a shit show. It's a shit show going on. Oh, yeah. It's a shit show going on. Oh, I am glad that the doctors finally showed up and started helping out. Maybe we wouldn't be this deep in the mud if they were already here. But this is where we are now. So the episode begins with David taking a walk, going to the gym, speaking on the small things that make him happy as a person. What is a small thing for you, Miss Lady? Could be in the morning or something just in general, but what is a small thing that makes you happy, either that you do for yourself or that a person does for you?
I think honestly, just one off the top is just like when I take a few moments of quiet time for myself. Um, like whether it's like in the morning before I hit the ground running, or if it's like at night before I like take it down. Like my day is like nonstop, like all the time. From the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep, it's like I never get a quiet moment. So that's what those quiet moments make me super happy. It's the moment that I feel most at peace. I get to think, I get to manifest a little bit. Like I get just to have some quiet times to say my affirmations and just like kind of level up to start the day or to end the day.
A small thing that makes me happy is like when I get to not partake, but just hear like a good conversation or like a good piece of debate. So whether that be like a podcast or just like a snippet of an interview, whatever it may be, that a small thing makes me happy. Just in general, it doesn't have to be in the morning time. Just like any time of the day, when I get that, that makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me happy. All right, this last question before we get into the couples was, I'm going to word it like this. There seems to be between all the couples or just some people individually with what we're gonna now entitle Space Invaders.
Oh, shit.
So I'm gonna entitle this Space Invaders, and my question is, how do you feel about the need of I need space, and what is the timetable before you say, all right, nigga, I gave you a couple days or whatever it was. What's up? What we doing? Or can we move on? Whatever it may be. What is your timetable when it comes to space?
So, not that this might even make a difference, but is it like just a healthy space? Like, hey, I just need some space, some time to myself, or is it we're button heads, or
I mean, it could be either
where
or.
it could be either or. Because I think for me, it would make a difference.
Mhm.
So if you just need some, space to like just do you or think, or it's a specific time that you have to do some self-reflecting, or you're going through some emotional changes or whatever the case may be, I'm going to afford you as much time as you need, in my opinion. Like,
So,
as much time as you need, as long as it's within reason.
that's all I'm about to
And
say. I could be like
yeah.
a couple months down the line, be like, no, I just
Oh
needed
yeah,
some time. I
no.
just need a little bit of
Yeah,
time. I need some
no.
time.
But within reason that will allow you, enough space to get to where you need to be without me in your space, right? But if we're fussing and arguing, or we're disagreeing, or whatever the case may be, I'm going to give you your space for like a couple hours,
Okay.
because I need to atone.
Okay.
Like, I need us to agree to disagree and be back on one accord, and I need to be all over you and you need to be all over me. Like,
Well,
so just a few.
what if the person didn't like calm down or process or gather their thoughts yet, and they're like, let's revisit this tomorrow or in a couple days? Would you be able to, stand at bay?
Yeah, I would, but as long as you're communicating with me about it, like, sure. If it's something not that deep, then I'm feeling like, a couple hours should be cool. Yeah, we can revisit it tomorrow, but I could take your mind off of it right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like to, for me, and that's something that I probably need to work on just within self. Like, I don't like being at discord
Right.
with like my person. Like, I
Right.
don't like going to sleep angry. I don't like going to sleep necessarily apart. I don't like that. And I understand people need space, and I want to be that type of partner that affords that to their person, right?
Right.
But I want to do it. I don't want to do it angry.
Right.
Like, I don't want to go to sleep with that on my heart. So I get it. Let's just like maybe find some atonement. Even if we can't agree, we don't have to talk about it or whatever the case may be. But let's just know that we're in this space, and I want to touch you. Like, I want to feel you. I want to go to sleep, and I want to be connected to you still, even if we're at odds.
Right. I think
So,
I've lost, or should I say, gained a sense of added not giving a fuck, because I'm serious, because I don't even think you can do anything to make me angry at this point.
right.
Like,
Become numb to it.
yeah, I'm no longer getting angry. Like, I'm, even if you do something that like upsets me or annoys me or whatever, I'm not channeling that to anger. I'm just channeling this set to like, you're a goof.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like I'm not gonna put my emotional imbalance off because you said or did something I didn't like.
Right. Right. And that's being good and in control of your emotions in a sense, because I feel like most times, most people will honestly allow shit to just get them so far off kilter that it just becomes such a domino effect. And then everything is just up in storm, up in smoke. And it's just like, For what?
Facts. Yeah, I'm
For
not doing that.
what?
I'm not doing that. Like, if you want to be on your bullshit, I just let you be on your bullshit. And I just go on about my day because I do have other shit to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bitch, I got other shit to do. Okay, you on your bullshit. Let me go do the other shit that I got to do.
Facts.
And that's just what it is. But
Yeah.
let's get into these couples. And normally we do start off from light to heavy, but I want to switch it up this week. And I want to start with the harder couples first. And we'll
Okay.
end with Camille and Thomas.
Yes, because they just so sweet and lovely right now.
We'll end with Camille and Thomas.
Okay,
So
sounds good.
where do you want to begin?
Why don't we start with David and Michelle? Let's start there.
Okay, David and Michelle, Man Bun, aka and Miss Lifestyle.
Did a lot of shit just to live this here lifestyle.
Just
Because
this here lifestyle.
if I hear it one more time,
Yes, you gotta get this lifestyle together. We trying to get to this lifestyle, man. Let's get to David and Michelle. Let me see. Let me pull up my notes and see what's going on here with these people. Oh, they first on my list in my notes. Let's get right to it.
okay, let's get right to
Let's
it.
get right to it. Let's get right to it. Okay. Dr. Pepper told David that it's not about you, that she's living in her fear from her past trauma. So that I thought that was a key point in letting him know that even though it's being pointed towards him, it's not necessarily personal. It's her in her own shit. So I thought that was a good point to be pointed out. Man. I thought that was a good point to be pointed out. But like I asked, if y'all haven't seen Intimate Conversations, go check that out. Do you think that that's fair to place on men to have to deal with those walls or those barriers that you have from your past trauma?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think
No,
that's fair?
no, it's not fair at all. It gets done over and over again. Um, I've been guilty of it. I might still do it every now and again. Some things that I haven't quite fully worked through, some abandonment issues and things like that. Like, things that you just sometimes can't work through fast enough, right? You place them on your potential person or your person, and you don't see how unfair it is
Right.
because you're just moving and you're just going through life and you just thinking it's okay. And it's just like, but this is me and this is this and this is that. And they have to hold the burdens of that. And although they can try to help you and work with you through those things, you can't solely place it on them to completely understand, completely want to be bothered with it, or completely able to transform who they are to conform to who you want them to be. Like, it's just not fair at all.
Right. All right. So they go to their first meeting with Dr. Pepper, and she came in late. She didn't hug him. If y'all been paying attention, y'all know that I extremely pay attention to body language. So I thought that was huge. I don't know if I gotta pause that or not, but I thought that was huge. Um, just and if you pay attention to body language, I feel like that carries a lot. It says a lot of where your energy is towards your person or people in general. So did you notice that at all?
I noticed that he stood up.
Right.
He stood up as if to greet her, as if to welcome a hug or just welcome an embrace, even if it was just a quick peck on the cheek or something. Like, he was willing to, be appropriate in that manner, but she wasn't feeling it. So fuck this
Facts.
shit. I'm sitting my ass down.
Facts. All right. So she asked them, how have they grown And I guess it was a point. It's like nobody had an answer. Like they both was just sitting there, like,
Crickets.
dude,
Fucking
we like,
crickets.
have we grown? So
Right.
they had a whole conversation, a 20-minute conversation, about their past and how they grew up and things of that nature that I felt like really was irrelevant.
Not at all. I mean, maybe hers might have been. I don't know how he was the outcast.
Right.
Maybe because he was a mixed child and not white, or whatever his reason that he was poised to be the outcast or posed to be the outcast. Okay, I got it. How does that affect you now in
Right.
adulthood in this point in time? I didn't get the correlation. But hers, I definitely got how that is affecting her now, her being poor.
Right.
She states that she comes from a small town, and she was set aside in a sense by children who had more than her, and that became a thing, and she doesn't want to go back to that poor lifestyle, blah 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 blah. Okay, I can see how now that ties into how she treats David, because she feels like David cannot be more than what he is showing her to be.
All right.
So
I
I
want to
think
ask
that
you.
was good. Hmm.
I want to ask you on that point before it gets lost. Yeah, she said that they were really poor and that they grew up struggling. And then Dr. Pepper asked her, "So were you embarrassed?" And then she said, "I don't think I was embarrassed at the time." Then she said, "But I was more embarrassed that we didn't have stuff." And I was like, "Is
What?
that not the same thing?"
I know. I know. I said the same thing. I said the same thing. I was like, yo, she is straight Rick James on me right now. Okay. Her and somebody else was Rick James this whole fucking episode.
I
And I'm
was like,
like,
"That's literally the same thing." Like,
literally the same.
what the
Literally the same.
fuck is happening right now? So she made a whole big deal about how she's terrified about going back to that place of being poor. Um, and I just want to say it is a transparency moment. Like, I don't consider that like a death sentence.
What, being poor?
Yeah.
Or not having a grandiose life?
Right.
Right. I don't either. That's
Yeah.
why I was, yeah.
I was like, it sounds like you're whining. Like you're whining, and I understand that. And I'm not mad at people who aspire to have more. But I don't feel like if you don't get the more, that your life is a failure. It's like whatever.
Right. That's facts. That's whole facts. And for her, it's like you're putting shit into the atmosphere.
Right.
Like a millionaire could go bankrupt 2 years after, he's made millions. Like just because you have these financial stability, that can be stripped away from you at any time. So you don't live your life based on that. Sure, you want to attain more. Sure, you want to reach higher goals and you want to be financially free and stable and not, of course, have to worry about eating ramen noodles 3, 4 nights out the week. We got it. We got it. But you don't live your life based on that. And also, why do you place that burden
Go on him.
on him? You give it 30 days. You don't know what this man is capable of. Yeah, he might live meager lifestyle. As you can see, he's happy with the sun and walking out
Right.
and enjoying a beautiful day versus worrying about what's in his bank account. And he may have had lots in his bank account. We don't know, but you're placing your fears on him, which is not fair.
All right. So I felt like it was very interesting that normally she'll say to David, "You never asked me anything deep or anything not surface level." And then when he says, "Well, tell me about your family," or tell me, some deep shit, she gets angry and she shuts down. But when Dr. Pepper was like, tell me, she was just like, oh, no. And then she was like, thank you, Dr. Pepper. I didn't even notice that. And it was like, it's the same fucking questions that he been asking you.
That's so facts. I'm a revelation for me this episode was I truly believe. Have you ever in your lifetime like just came across somebody and it was something about them that just rubbed you the wrong way?
Right.
Whether it was the way that they talk, the way that they look, the way that they perch their lips, the way that they laugh, the way that they tie their sneaks. Like, I don't know. It was just something about them that just wasn't aesthetically pleasing to you. Like, you didn't like the sound of their voice, just some shit.
Right.
Like, the revelation for me this episode was it doesn't matter what that motherfucker, what a motherfucker do. Like what that person does, what that person says, if that person dresses better, if that person changes being spicy, whatever the case may be, you just don't like that. So,
and I'm not even gonna say is that she just don't like him. She didn't even give an opportunity to get to know him to say that I don't like him. So she just going on the fact that he said I live with my parents, and that was her point of I don't like you.
Right. It just irked her life, and everything after that was just I don't yeah. But, he's this, he's that.
This part kind of like I felt bad for David.
Yes. Oh yeah, I already know what you did.
I felt bad for David because I'm all for speaking your thoughts and having transparency moments and things of that nature. But don't tell nobody that they 10 years fucking behind you. Like what?
Right.
Yeah. He's 10 years behind me and I can't do it. I was like, what?
First of all, I'm confused with the whole 10 years behind me thing. Okay, she spoke of his immaturity and some of the things that just, continuously adds to this mile long fucking list that she has of reasons that he's just not it, right? But this whole 10 years behind me thing, I don't understand. He was a bar owner. He's had, money coming in and out. He's had his own place. He's been in long-term relationships. Just because he is maybe just in a space that you might not be privy, like you might not like that much, doesn't fucking mean that he's 10 years behind you. I was so lost by that statement, but I was just like, the fucking audacity of you, Michelle. Nasty
word.
Nasty. And to further that, just real quick, I was having a conversation because I watch it with other people as well, right? And the conversation came up, well, you can't be mad at her per se because she has higher expectations for herself. I'm not mad at her at all about that because I feel like we should all have expectations. We should all have boundaries and we should all have things that we set our standards to be, correct? Sure. And some people may miss the mark. Some people might not be able to fulfill it or whatever the case may be. But you don't fucking belittle nobody or you don't fucking look down on nobody or you don't fucking just make somebody feel like shit.
Right. Not only do you not belittle them, how about you specify when they're asking you what you want, you say, I want somebody who's well off.
Say that.
Say that.
Say that. Say that. Not you are 10 years behind me. Because what do you get from stepping on his neck like that? Like what do you get? Does that make you feel better?
Facts. Okay, so Dr. Pepper is like, well, maybe she needs to, hear from you that you can provide the lifestyle. Let me get the shit out.
I'm so sorry.
That you can provide the lifestyle that she wants. And then she said, well, let me know when you can afford like a 2-flat condo and X, Y, and Z. And he said, first of all, I wouldn't even answer that fucking question, but go ahead, David, rock out. Like, he was like, maybe in like a year or two, once I get this promotion, I'll be on that level. I'll be making like just as much as you, is not more than you, and then I'll be able to afford these things for you. And my thought process in that whole space of the conversation was, is that what our relationship is contingent on? Like, they haven't been, this is not something like we've been together for years and like, let's put a plan together to get X, Y, and Z. This is like, I just met you. This is like, I just met you. So I think it's wild, but that might be just me, but I think it's wild for you for it to be a conversation for us to talk. Like, this is how she's talking to him. For it even be an option in my brain for me to think of you as a valuable option. That's what it's contingent on.
Facts. Facts. And kudos to David for just answering and just going along with it. Like, what you want to base your acute like, for what you want to base what you want your life to be like, is a whole financial stability because you don't want to be poor. That to me speaks volumes. And the fact that David still goes along with it, even knowing that the basis for his happiness doesn't lie there. I don't know if it's real or fake. We'll see. But it's just like, when does the shit show stop? Because at this point, y'all can see clearly that y'all are not compatible. Y'all not even on the same wavelength. And even when she is made privy to the fact that she's bringing her childhood into this marriage,
right?
She's like, I don't give a fuck.
Facts.
I just don't want to be poor.
Facts.
And this nigga look poor.
Facts.
Okay.
And a point in that was, after he said, I can do all of those things, she still said out of her mouth, I still have doubts. She still said out of her mouth, I still have doubts. And what I thought in my brain, if I was David, I would have said, you know what? I still have doubts. I would have said, I still have doubts too. I would have said, you know what? You want all of that? That's what you want? I can give you all of that. You know what I want? I want free reign. I want free reign. If this is, because what the fuck do I get?
What do and not only that, sis, because if you could do it, you would have done it.
Right.
You would own your own shit. You renting, mama. So what we talking about here? Like, you're placing so much pressure. And that was a part of the conversation that I had too. Well, you can't say that. Why can't I say that? Why should you have expectations for a man and him doing something for you if you can't do it for yourself?
I don't even care if you can do it for yourself. That's not what that's not what I'm coming here for. Like, like where's the line at? Like, my question is, where's the line at? Like, where's the line of, like, how they say you're supposed to be the man? All right, before we even get to you supposed to be the man, how about even if we was just partners? So let's just say, even if we was just partners, if we're even just partners and somebody's providing this for you, you're basically an escort, and they're basically a slave to your wants and needs.
That's facts. That's facts. This is fuckery. It is.
And they don't even look at it like that won't even cross their mind.
This is
that is what they are putting on the table.
Right.
They'll just be like, no, that's what you're supposed to do as the man.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I don't know. This whole setup that she has, and this whole idea that she has in her head about what he should be able to provide. Okay, well, let's just say this. Let's just say, Michelle, you come across a man that can do all of that for you, right? And he's in a car accident. You're married to him and he's in a car accident and he can no longer provide for you. And then eventually y'all eat away at the savings and eventually y'all eat away at the investments and eventually y'all eat away at any partnerships or money income coming in that he might have had. And then what? This is what I'm saying. She's not being realistic here.
I'm not even going to say that she's not being realistic. Like I said earlier, go get you a nigga that's his lifestyle. Go get you a nigga that he wants those same things that you want. I'm not even mad at her for saying that she wants these things. You want those
Right.
things? Cool. Go get it yourself, or go get you a nigga that already has it or has the same idea and plan that you have. That's all I'm saying. Go get it.
Right. I agree.
Go get
I
it.
agree. And she gonna get it and lose it. Let me stop.
Go get it.
Right, let me
All
stop.
right. So Dr. Pepper, was explaining to them that a great teacher of oneself is another person. So what that means is a lot of times you can't see yourself, or you can't see how you're coming off to somebody, or you can't see those past traumas that you're putting on people. So the person that you're dealing with has to tell you because you can't see it.
Mhm.
So I thought that that was a very important point from Dr. Pepper. And then we move along. She takes David shopping.
Here's another one.
Here's another one. Here's another one. She takes David shopping, right? She told him no more jorts. You know what jorts are?
Yes, I know what jorts are. Have you ever owned a pair of jorts?
Never owned a pair of jorts. I'm not a jort fan. And what jorts is, people, is
Gee,
jean shorts.
yeah.
So, no, I'm not wearing jorts. I don't think David should be even wearing jorts either. But to each
No.
his own. But she said, yeah, no more jorts. No more jorts. So they were going through the clothes, picking out clothes and that, and they came across some chinos, and unbeknownst, I'm a person who loves chinos. I'm a chino lover. When I was in high school, or when I was a teen, I was like in my chino stage, probably like just wearing chinos to school, chinos and a button up. That was the era that I grew up in. So I am a proponent of chinos, and I would rather wear chinos than like regular dress pants or dress legs. I feel more comfortable in chinos, basically.
Mm.
So I do love chinos. I just wanted to get
You
to
just want to put that out there.
that I love
Okay.
chinos. That I love chinos, but what like confused me was that he went in the dressing room and then he came out, and were you impressed?
No. But she was like, oh, and Drake would wear the denim on denim, and it's just like she was impressed. And I mean, listen, I get it. He is into exercising and working out. He has a
He
very
basically
muscular
just put him
form.
in some button ups.
Yeah, facts. Like, he obviously shows off things like, he wears things like t-shirts and stuff so it can show
Tank
off
tops,
his
just the tank
builds and
tops.
his tank tops and the muscle shirts or whatever, just because he is a workout buff and he likes to show his body in that way, shape, or form. She wants him to be more sports codish and whatever. Um,
But I
I
think
wasn't impressed by what she picked out
I,
or her stylist friend either.
as a fact, I definitely wasn't impressed by none of the shit that she picked out. And I will say that I don't think he could dress, first of all.
Right.
So I'll agree with her on that point, that I don't think that he could dress. But
Mhm.
I also feel like if she was into him, she wouldn't care so much about what he wears. Like,
Right.
especially when it comes to wearing tank tops, because most girls they like want to rub and see on your arms and shit.
Yeah,
So it's like
fact.
I've never heard a girl say, "Yo, I never want to see you wear a tank top again."
Yeah, that's full facts. And it's not that he doesn't draw, like he ain't bummy or nothing. He just
Don't got no
is a
style.
plain, he don't have no style. And she wants him to be a little more preppy-ish, it seems like, you know what I mean, with blazers and things like that.
But
So
I
I wasn't
will.
impressed by nothing they picked out.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed by nothing they picked out, but I will agree if when she said I think she was referring to like you have to dress to your body type or your body style. So I will agree with her on that point that you should dress to where as though the clothes like lay on you to fit your body style. It's just like um a lot of people the way that your body is shaped, like a crop top is not for you.
Hmm.
Like it's just certain
That's
things.
right.
Like people who got flat butts, it's like certain kind of tights and like things of that nature. It's not for you. It just don't. It
Nah,
just don't
period.
lay right. So it's just like you could, like two people could wear a small, but it don't lay on them the same
The
way.
same way. Right. I agree.
So you have to be mindful, like when you're getting dressed or buying clothes or whatever, how the clothes are gonna lay on you. So I would
Yeah.
agree with her on that part. But I also wanted to say that his sneakers was trash.
Them classic Reeboks, yeah. Like his foot was too fat and they're nicer, cuter on smaller girl feet.
Mm,
Like, in my opinion, not like his big fat feet.
that's a fact. That's a fact. But then it was also confusing because after they were in there, and he was like, "All right, I'm gonna buy something," and then she was like, "Well,
What are we
don't buy it
thinking?
for me." No, she was like, "Don't buy it for me.
Um,
Are you buying it for you? Don't buy it for me." I'm not wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for you. Like, what are we talking about? Is
yeah,
that an
facts.
issue or is that a problem if I'm dressing for you?
Um, I just feel like in those type of situations, that shit gonna fizzle
Okay.
because eventually you're gonna be dressing for me in the beginning or for a little bit, but that shit gonna fizzle out. So for the rest of your life, you're gonna be asking me what's in style or what do I like or whatever the case may be. Like I just don't feel like those type of situations is cool. Like
I don't know. I don't know if I can agree to that because I feel like I'm the kind of person that be like if I be like yo I like when you wear your hair in a ponytail. You
mm,
don't gotta wear your hair in a ponytail all the time, but I like and I wouldn't mind that you put your hair in a ponytail because you know I like that.
right, right. Yeah, I do agree with that. But then, like you said, not all the time, but in the interim, you expect, her to have some sort of style one way or the other where she's not wearing a ponytail, that she's looking like something.
Right.
Like for him, he just doesn't have necessarily a great style.
Right.
So sure, he can buy a jean jacket and a sports coat and a couple button down shirts or whatever the case may be. But that's three, four, maybe five outfits. Like, what are you going to do from now until the rest of your time with her? Like,
Right.
so that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, it could dressing for me or dressing for her. It's only going to take you but so far. Like, you have to learn how to do that shit on your own as well.
Yeah, that's true. And I also want to say that, like I said, a little bit earlier, it that doesn't matter when you like really like the person.
Yeah, this is true.
You don't be tripping over that shit. It's like a lot.
Yeah,
I've been
this
talking
is
to a
true.
lot of girls that I would in my mind, I'm like, what the fuck you got on?
Right, what you got on? Right. And I know it's definitely sometimes where I know sometimes I'll be having some shit on and I'll be like, well, that's okay. I like this shit. I mean, I know it ain't bad, but I like it. I
Right,
mean, it's cute.
right. All right, let's move on from David and Michelle. They are a train wreck. Let's move
Yeah.
on from David and Michelle. Do we want to go straight to hell? Do we want to go straight to hell?
Let's go straight to hell. Let's get that shit out the
All
way.
right, let's go straight to hell. We're gonna go straight to hell early for y'all, man. We're going straight to hell early for y'all, man. Iky-Ra, aka So Paul, and Eminem, man. How do we get here, and where do we go from here? Okay, Iky-Ra started off meeting with Pastor Kyle, and as soon as the conversation started, he went right to his rapey shit. I get so annoyed when he starts bringing up his rapey shit because it wasn't rapey. We saw it. We saw it.
We saw
when he was
it.
taking the bed. We saw when she took the honey pack. We saw when he was like, "No, chill," and she chilled. That's
Right.
not rapey.
That's not. And then he like every time we talk to him, or I mean, every time he talks or he speaks to someone else, he's telling a different layer of the story. So 2 days in, she asks to get in the shower with me.
Right.
Like, okay, what was so bad about that? You could have just said no. What was so bad about her saying let's get in the shower together? Let's be intimate together, whether we fucked or not.
Yeah, that's suspect to me. Any nigga that don't want to get in the shower with a chick. That's always gonna be suspect to me. I don't care if it's too early and you be like, I don't want to give off that kind of energy. You're in the shower. You never seen a naked woman in your life.
He's ridiculous.
you be all right. You be all right. You be all right. They did make it a point too where he was saying she asked him, "Would you move in with me when this is over?" Is that's a bad question coming from somebody who's now your wife? That's a bad question.
No, hell no. Hell no, it's not a bad question. No. And then why he was so adamant on making it like a bad thing, saying, "Oh, in 4 days." Well, I don't really know you. And they go, "What? You stood and married this woman."
Yes, you shouldn't have married me. What do you think comes with marriage? You think y'all get married and y'all both go back to y'all separate lives and then y'all get to know each other? No, y'all sped up the process. So this is a speeded up process.
Correct. And I like the fact that Pastor Kyle stated that this is not your average type of marriage or average type situation. So what is wrong with that? We encourage that.
All right, so back to Iky-Ra's explanations of why he's being a dick. He said he doesn't like her personality. He says her attitude is trash and she makes him feel small. And I was like, we never saw that. So can they pull tape? Can somebody show me? I never seen none of the shit that he's talking about.
Right. Right. Never seen not a peep of it. Talking about so he told Pastor Kyle, she's being somebody that you ain't seen yet.
Right.
Like what?
Yeah, that was insane.
I don't even think you've seen it, sir. I think you just making shit up just to be making shit up.
That's a fact. All right, so at some point, I feel like he was speaking to or from his insecurities. So I wanted to tell you, Ish, you might have been right in saying that some of this is coming from his insecurities. I still feel like that's a cop out and a deflection. But maybe it is something there. How did you feel when he said that, or when that was the consensus?
Yeah. I definitely felt like it. I definitely felt like it's just an inkling of something because it was two words that he mentioned that made me like refer back and just be like, you know what? He says, she makes me feel like I don't have enough.
Right.
We've never seen that. No, you feel like you don't have enough.
Right.
That's you feeling like you don't have enough. And then when he made mention of, it's like she has this world already and she's making me
a pawn.
a pawn in her world. And so Dr. Cal further says, so you're trying to tell me like she has this all set up, she's pulling you in and she's making you follow her lead. When, where, who, what, why, what? Like, I've never seen her behave that way. I can't even see her being the type of woman to say, okay, well, this is all mine, and you just going to follow suit and not do your own thing. I can't see this.
Yeah, I don't see or hear any of the examples that he's making of. That's why I was like threw me off when we go to the whole insecurity aspect of it, because she's not displaying none of that behavior for me to say, all right, yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I don't see a lick of it. A lick of what he's saying, I don't see. And I don't think Pastor Cal honestly sees it either. He's not pointing it out per se to say, no, I don't see it. But he's basically saying, well, yeah, I agree. She can be ambitious. She could be overly ambitious. She could be trying too much. She could be doing a whole bunch of things. But like, you putting tape on her that's like not even true, my nigga. Like, seriously.
Right. So even in that point of the whoever is following or whoever is the leader or whatever, I don't see her not following his lead, also because I don't see him leading.
Say it again for the people in the back, for the niggas in the back.
I don't see her not even trying or wanting to follow his lead because I don't see him leading.
Facts. We have somebody who can't even hold a conversation. How can I expect you to lead? She says one thing. He says a lot of fluff.
Facts.
He says a lot of nonsense. This is why I ask questions. Facts. He can't lead.
Facts, because he's not leading. All right, so yeah, I don't see him being belittled or poked at or all that bullshit he was spewing out. This was the kicker in that conversation. I don't know if you heard it, but this was the kicker. He said to Pastor Cal, I never disrespected her, not once.
And was very adamant and was very like convinced himself. Pastor Cal put up his finger. Did you not call her an asshole?
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, if you act like an asshole, then you get called an asshole. Okay. Then he takes it back. Then he backpedals and said, yeah, I was being disrespectful. Another Rick James on the James Chappelle show moment.
Not another. Okay. This is what I want to say, man. This is what I want to say. Just as a man, and I normally don't even stand in that you the man kind of shit, but I'm a people kind of person. But as a man, I want to say to men, sir, this is how I'm going to address you, sir. Whether she's being an asshole or not, that's still disrespectful for you to call her an asshole. Mm-hmm. You can't say you're acting like an asshole, so I call you an asshole. There's plenty of times I've been with girls or around girls and they be acting like a bitch. Guess what I'm not going to say? You a bitch. You acting like a bitch. Right. Guess what I'm not going to say? I'm not going to say it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say it because it ain't necessary. You don't have to.
Right.
You don't have to. You just don't have to do it.
But I think for certain people like that, where they are feeling like insecure or attacked in their own way, that is them lashing out and trying to make that person feel just as bad as they're feeling. So he feels attacked by her. He feels like she's belittling him in every conversation or every question or whatever. You know what I mean? So that was his way of lashing out. Like he said, when he made that statement at the dinner table in front of everybody that she treats him like shit. Right. He said, I was lashing out. I was mad. I didn't even care at that time. So that's what happens. That's what they do. They lash out. They say shit, they call names, anything to make them feel better about the situation.
Thanks. All right. So Pastor Kyle said, well, whether this works out or not, I do want us to find a resolution or just a cordial conversation. What is that? Closure, whatever it may be. Either we can move on or we can't. So that was a key point when he's telling him to tell people how they're coming across to you. So if you feel like they're treating you like shit, you can't just feel it. You have to explain to them why you feel like they're treating you like shit. So then that can stop. But if you don't never tell them how they're treating you, how whatever it is that's making you feel like they're treating you like shit, that's what is a cycle.
Right. And then how are they to ever know?
All right.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that's the only way you know that both sides know, man. All right, so before they ended that conversation, um I don't remember what Pastor Kyle said, but he was like, "Are you crying?" And he said, "No, this is just allergies." Was he crying? Was it allergies, or was he putting on the show?
And listen, I think everything that nigga does is theatrics. It's a show. And he's talking about, yeah, he said it was allergies or whatever the case may be. No, I don't think he was. I mean, he could have been, but I don't think he was crying. I think he just puts on a show. He says things, even the way, the stead that he speaks in, like when he talks, it's just very like, no,
Asshole.
Paracel. It's
That's what the
very,
asshole
con-
is.
yes, very asshole-ish, very condescending. No, Pastor Cal, I know it doesn't seem like much, but this is my feelings. This
Right.
is how I feel. And let me tell you something. Pastor Cal don't buy none of that shit for a reason. I'm gonna tell you how. Because at the end he said, "No, don't gaslight me.
Right.
Don't gaslight me. Don't push me off. Don't tell me X, Y, and Z. Like whatever the case may be." That lets you know right there, that Pastor Cal see right through his ass and know that all he doing is tap dancing and gaslighting around that motherfucker.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Seriously.
All right, so next we get to see have her one on one, and she says she feels like he's just not ready for marriage. Do you agree with that?
I don't think Ike's ready for nothing, so that's an unfair question to ask me. He ain't ready for shit. He ready for this eight and a half up his ass.
He's ready for 8.5 of his ass. He's ready for 8.5 of his ass.
No, but I'm being silly. But yeah, I personally don't feel like he is. I feel like he's just there for a show.
Um, I don't know. It's kind of tricky because, in a sense, I don't feel like he's well. Overall, I don't feel like he's ready for marriage or what it takes to be married. But I still think that there's underlying things that if the whole, and we'll get to this, if the whole housewarming thing had never happened, I don't think that this is his behavior.
You think like something triggered him into this behavior.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that something triggered him into this behavior. What I want to say, the point where I don't think he's ready to be married is if you're not ready to be communicative and like answer basic questions, that part, I would definitely say you're not ready to be married if you can't handle that simple part right there.
Yeah, thanks.
That's a simple thing, man. All right, but Dr. Pia did check Eminem, and she told her to be mindful of her responses, like I was speaking of at the anniversary showdown dinner. To just like, I know sometimes women can't, catch themselves in those emotional moments. And
Mhm.
it's like a lash out. It's like, what is that? Crime of passion kind of thing.
Mhm.
But try not to match energy in those moments, or what we call be petty,
Mhm.
because you know what that person is trying. Like I said last episode, you know what that person is trying to. That's what they're trying to do to you. They're trying to get you to that moment.
Mhm.
They're trying to get it to where as though you look crazy and they're sitting there saying that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, that's facts.
So
That's facts.
she said something about feelings over facts, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that definitely was. Um, the reason that I felt it interesting because most people rely on facts.
Right.
Most people definitely rely on facts. And it doesn't matter what emotion comes with it or what emotion you display or the other party displays. Typically, it's riding on those facts, right? But with her putting it into that perspective, like emotion over facts, I think that would bring the basis of um reality versus placing your mind and thoughts into what it is that you feel is right.
Right.
Like reality meaning in the moment, in the being, in feeling, expressing, etc. Not just relying on, okay, well, this is what it is. And this is what I know it to be. And I don't give a fuck about nothing else. I don't give a fuck about how you feel about it. I don't give a fuck about what you say about it or whatever the case may be. This is what it is. And I think some people will take that and run with it. Like I stand in certain issues, in certain instances, facts hold true, and that's what you stand on, and that's how you
I
communicate, and
feel
that's how
like
you move
I
forward.
feel like facts always hold true. I feel like facts
Right.
always hold true, but there's also going to be moments or instances, and I've seen these and dealt with these. That's why I said I was triggered this whole episode. So I know
Hmm.
certain times where my facts are correct,
Hmm.
but I have to be empathetic about how she's feeling right now. And I have to
Right.
put that as the priority over my facts that whatever how I think or whatever happened, I know the facts of it to be this. I have to put her feelings first right now.
Right. Right. Do you feel like when a person leads with facts versus emotion, let's just say, do you feel like they are skewed in their perception of, let's just say, reactiveness from the other party? Like it kind of blocks them from understanding anything outside of what they base the facts on?
It could be, but it's also more times than not. It's not the person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's just their shit that they have.
Right.
It's just
Right.
their shit that they have. So it's like if you start talking to somebody, but the last person was beating your ass, you're always going to have certain triggers,
Yeah.
certain movements that is going to catch you, but it's not this current person.
Hmm.
So
Right.
I feel like that's always a thing that's going to
Hmm.
be there.
Right. Yeah. I get it.
All right, so M did say that it started at the housewarming with the barrage of questions, and I felt like I tried to tell y'all that that's where the energy shifted,
Hmm.
and Dr. Pia was telling him to meet people where they are, and I think that was I think that the fucking experts finally showed up and fucking spoke some shit for these people to get some fucking help because they've been lost and running off, fucking like acting like clowns and monkeys and shit.
Yeah, that's fact.
So meeting people where they are basically means that certain people are like can be defensive, or certain people move and communicate certain ways. So you gotta find a medium
Mm-hmm.
You gotta find a medium to meet them where they are. Like I can't expect you to send me a paragraph explanation if I know you're not a person that communicates like that.
Right.
So even though I want a long expounded answer, I gotta like give and take. There has to be a little bit of give and take there.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes that's difficult for people.
Right.
Like sometimes that is extremely difficult for people to register. Um, and I felt like when Dr. Pia gave that example of, if my fiance is having a bad day and I walk in and I see that he's off a little bit or whatever the case may be, and I want to know what's wrong, and I say, what's going on with you or whatever the case may be, and I keep wanting an answer or wanting the person to expound on something at a specific point in time just because either I want to make them feel better or like exactly what she said is me. I do that.
Right.
And for whatever reason, like I want to make it better. I want to see how I can help. Can I talk you through it? Can I do something to help relieve you, take your mind off of it, whatever the case may be? And that person might not want to necessarily delve into it at that time. And you're aggravating them by continuously trying to figure it out. But I think it's just hard for people in general, sometimes, certain people, to just be okay with the silence for the moment until the time is right to just, hey babe, yeah, let me tell you what happened. You know what I mean? And let them come to you at their own time. It's difficult to just find a reprieve, a quiet time and a quiet space and understand that, okay, you don't need to know at this moment. Like he'll tell you when he's ready.
Right, because in those instances you feel like you want to be and you're being supportive.
Right.
And that's once again, that's you. You have to meet the people where they are. So what that means is
Right.
maybe he's not ready to share.
Right. Fact. I know.
You
Mm-hmm.
just have to wait for him to share.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Whether he shares or not is his shit. It's his shit.
I agree. And what I've been starting to do, okay, there's
Right.
something wrong with you. Oh, fucking well. That's when you figure it the fuck out.
It's his shit, man. All
Right.
right. So where are we? Oh, they had this whole conversation when they finally got together, and Dr. Cal was explaining to them, when people stop valuing you or respecting you in certain ways, then that's when the disrespect follows. And they broke down the whole how they are different as far as her moving like in logical ways and him trying to move on vibes and him trying to move like an artist and her moving with science. So that, like I was saying, you gotta find the middle, and that when you don't, and this is why I'm a proponent of meeting your match because this shit, if you're not mentally in tune, like if you're not mentally in tune, if you're not emotionally in tune, you don't even know that these things are a thing.
Right. That's what I was going to say. How many people do you really think like sit and think about the differences that they are encountering with their partner to say, okay, well, I'm a creative and she is, she's science and our communication styles are different, our passions are different, the things and the way we look at certain situations is different. Nobody does that.
Right. That's a fact. And I think that is the biggest disconnection. I think that
Right.
that's the biggest disconnection because you may meet somebody or you may know somebody who you don't align with or match up with compatibility wise, but you don't practice or put into practice learning how they move and how they operate and where you can meet in the middle. And that is a whole that in itself is a science. That in
Right.
itself is a science. But if you don't acknowledge that you're always going to be butting heads.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like you're always going to be butting heads because you're different.
Right. Right.
You're different. All right, so this is my last point on. Well, I do have one more point in this, but
Mhm.
this is the last one that's in my notes. I explained to y'all a while ago that he really just wants her to shut up. I'm telling y'all.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he basically said, "I just don't like her personality."
Right? It's not that he doesn't like her or whatever it may be, but he just wants her to shut up. Like he just wants you to be there. And it's like, you ever been around a person that don't talk to you? They don't really want to do nothing to with you, but they just want you to be there.
Mhm.
You ever seen this or been around it?
Absolutely. That's the
Like
worst.
yeah, it's hard to decipher because it's like you're the kind of person like I want to play with you.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
now I want to play with you.
yeah, I want to play. I want to talk a little bit. I want to be silly. I want to do whatever, and they just don't want you to do nothing but be there.
Right. So that is a thing or like a personality trait or character that some people have, and you gotta know how to move around those minefields, and it becomes like uncomfortable for you because you just feel like I'm being like loving or whatever with my person. Like I just want to talk to my person. It's like they're just not that kind of person
That's it. And then you be like,
when
hey,
they want to talk.
right. And then you be like, hey, get some shit. Like, I can't even open up my fucking mouth. Like, what the fuck? Oh, this shit.
All right, I was off of Eminem and Iky-Ra, but I did want to resort back to the after party. Shout out to Rudy, and
She's back.
she's back. Shout out to Rudy, and shout out to the bull who was like a married bull from a podcast, but he seemed a little suspect. But I ain't gonna let him rock.
Let him rock. Let him rock. I felt that too. I felt that too.
I'm gonna let him rock. I'm gonna let him rock. All right, so
Right.
they are asking what's going on or whatever, and she's just like, I don't know, and I don't know how to carry him, I don't know how to treat him, whatever. And the bull said, I feel like he's being disrespectful. I was waiting for him to come on with Aikichi to see if he was going to say, I feel like you're being disrespectful. I was waiting to see if he was going to have the same energy
He did
from
not.
exactly. I was waiting to see if he was going to have the same energy from when he was talking to him, and he said, "No, he's being disrespectful." So when he was sitting there with Aikichi, was he going to say to Aikichi, "No, nigga, you're being disrespectful"? That's what I was waiting for.
Right, thanks. But of course he didn't. And of course, Aikichi didn't bring the energy with her cousin like any other male figure. So even if he would have said that, Aikichi probably would have backed down or whatever the case may be, or gave a little spin turn move that he normally does. But he brings that energy with her. He's not gonna bring it with nobody else, especially if somebody else calls him out on it. Nah.
Thanks. All right. So my last question is. So finally, Rudy. Shout out to Rudy, man, because she be asking these
Love her.
the shit. Shout out to her. She be asking them the questions that need to be asked. Even when all the time, shout out to the extras when they come in, they finally do set a tone or give them key points to help them figure shit out. But Rudy asked the questions that we need to be asked. And she was like, no, nigga. She was like, no, nigga. What is your fucking problem? What
Thanks.
is
What
your
is your
fucking problem?
problem?
And he said, I feel like she's being an asshole because she's like one way in front of people who she feels like on her level, and she's another way around people that's not on her level. And then she shout out to Rudy once again. She said, well, she's not treating you that way. And he said, yeah, she's not treating me that way, but I feel like I'm the people on the lower level. I thought this was important. This was amazing. This was a great
Yeah,
break right
this
here.
is sad.
So what did you think about that?
I mean, that just further proves the point. Like he, in his mind, feels smaller than or less than or just some sort of maybe long-standing um insecurity that we don't know about, that he hasn't spoken on or that he deflects from or whatever the case may be, that has him feeling as if he is smaller than her because she is so direct, she is so loud, she is so in your, not loud, but she is so in your face, and she is so such a big personality, you know what I mean? And because he's so milder and from the South and meek or whatever the case may be, that he feels that. So that's when she asked him that, that's all that further proved the point to me. Like, it's you feeling like this. It's an insecurity within yourself.
But could this insecurity have been placed on him from the cousin from the initial wedding meeting when he said, "Are you trying to like get a come up on her?"
I don't think I'm gonna be honest.
Mhm.
I don't think an insecurity was placed on him. I think he said, "Oh shit, my cover's blown." Oh shit. Oh shit. I didn't expect anybody to care enough and ask questions. Oh shit.
That's a fact. Sadly, I think both can be true. Sadly, I think both could
I
be
agree.
true. Sadly, I think that he is in his mind about it. Sadly, I don't think that she treats him that way. Is that a thing though? Like, would you think in your brain to be like, maybe one day somebody's gonna treat me like that? Would you think that, like, if you were talking to somebody and you saw them treat different people different ways, would that be a thing in your brain? Like, I'm just like that kind of person that they treated like shit. So at some point they might treat me like that. Would that be a thing in your brain?
Okay, so yeah, it would probably cross my mind. However, I'm not basing my actions on that. Like they would have to show me that because sometimes, people just say and do things, right? And they're not conscious about what it is that they're saying or doing or how they're behaving. And they don't necessarily mean it in a negative or derogatory way or whatever the case may be. Like they're just being them and they have a certain air or they have a certain uppity way about them or whatever the case may be, but it doesn't come from a place of malice or a place of belittlement or a place of whatever the case may be. Somebody from the outside looking in might think that, but that's not your intentions, that's not your heart, that's not how you move, whatever the case may be. So I might think it might cross my mind and shit, but I'm not the type of person that's going to move and operate in the basis that they are going to do that to me. Like
Right.
I'm going to let you rock, and I'm going to let you, and I want to see how it is that you're going to behave towards me, or if you will treat me, or whatever the case may be, and then I'm gonna pull your coattail on some shit. But I'm not speaking it, and I'm not manifesting it. I'm not speaking it into existence and just saying, "Oh yeah, this is what's going to happen to me." It's how
Is
she's gonna treat me.
is that a thing that you would care about?
I definitely, I wouldn't lay heavily on it.
Okay.
I wouldn't lay heavily on it. No, but I definitely would. Tussle with it in my mind a little bit. I definitely would.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I think that I guess finally at least he's speaking a little bit, so we get to see where the origins are. I still think he's full of shit. I'm not gonna. I'm
I
never
do
gonna.
so.
I'm never gonna backtrack on that. But I guess there's some origins on why he's full of shit, and it's like he's creating narratives in his brain, and he's like placing things on her that she hasn't exuded to him yet, but it's a thing that he's like foreseeing, like you
Yeah,
said, manifesting, but she's not doing it to you. It's like,
thanks.
I
And
can't really hold you accountable to something that you're not doing to me.
right. And how can you hold someone accountable for something that they may not be aware of? That
Right.
they may not even be aware that they're coming across with that type of air, right? I'm sorry, Pastor Cal basically was like, she's ambitious. She might be overly ambitious. This is what she's used to. This is how she's used to conducting herself, right? So she might be used to just conducting herself as an heir, like somebody who drives a nice car, somebody that lives in a nice condo, somebody that makes a lot of money and has their own business, and she might operate as such. You might not operate in that sense, so you're on the outside looking in, thinking that she is looking down on people, and that just might not be the case. That just might be how she behaves.
I got beef with that though.
Okay.
I mean,
What's
not to be on his side,
right,
but I have beef with it that it's a thing where those people don't know that.
right,
I
right.
got
Like as if they should know.
right.
All right.
I got a little bit of beef with that, and maybe they shouldn't know because it was never a thing for them to know. That's just how they would, they carried it or how they was raised or whatever it may be. Maybe it's not a thing for them that they should know. It's kind of like a rich person not understanding a poor person.
Right. But I think if you broke it down even further, like sometimes it's not even so much that, because if you had a conversation with that person, their views or perspectives may be totally different, right?
I mean, I'm speaking on the person that is their views.
Okay. Not just necessarily her and her movement or behavior, but somebody whose views are that.
Right.
And they should know like that their behavior displays that. Right. Um, yeah, then absolutely. Then you move accordingly. And you can't basically change somebody's views, or you can't make them behave a certain way in order to conform or to fit what you feel like your perspective of the world or people who are less than or have less than feel, right? You can't do that. But if they genuinely don't know,
Right.
which I don't know if I put that case on like I don't know if I put that case on her.
Right, that's what I mean. I'm not putting that case on her specifically. I'm
Right.
just saying that those kind of people, it'd be kind of tricky to me. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
and I don't think that that's him at all because I've never seen her, act in those behaviors. I'm just speaking in general.
right. I mean, his face speaks it all when he thinks of her. Like when he thinks of her and he thinks of her behavior and he thinks of her personality
It's when he
or
walks
just
in the room, the energy is bad energy.
it's bad and he just does not like her. Like he doesn't I just think he doesn't I just think from the first 2 days, because he said on day two she wanted to take a shower with him, and that was problematic. So I think day one and the early part of day two, he saw something that maybe he could be okay with. He saw a woman who was ambitious, good to go, whatever the case may be. And then I think after that, when she just started to be her, he's just like Nizzle. So I just don't think nothing she does, whether she's really behaving that way or not, see, like I just feel like he is not going to like it.
Yeah, I think like I said, I still stand on the fact that he's just a dick. But
Right.
I'm just speaking about people in general now. So
Yeah.
this will be my last question on this because we got to move on to the other couples. But
Mm.
I want to ask you, as a woman, like if you're talking to somebody that may be below you or whatever it may be, and they're insecure about it, who's at fault?
And I'm not making them feel that way.
Right.
Their fault. Their fault because here's the thing. And I've been in this situation before, and I don't even gotta lie. Trust me. Okay, trust me. But I feel like it is up to us as individuals to hold weight in our and be secure in who we are, no matter at what level we are in.
That's a fact.
No matter whether we're down, whether we're high, or whatever the case may be, we do have to be secure in who we are and what we have, what we accomplish, what we wish to accomplish, or whatever the case may be. If you're with a person that you are feeling is belittling you or lowering you or whatever the case may be, you should be able to stand in a room with a bunch of gems and still shine. Like, I think it falls on that person. That's how I think.
I agree. I agree because I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I see women just speak on how, sometimes men, feel intimidated or they feel like they can't measure up or whatever it may be, however they want to word it. And I don't really give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm never going to like feel like I can't reach that because nigga, what?
Right. I know, but that's just a person or a man a person. I'm gonna say a man because it could be a woman that's in the same situation, but a person who is just comfortable in who they are, just comfortable in the space that they are in, and okay with whatever anybody has around them. They are strong in who they are, right? But what I will say is for individuals who are on that side of the coin, right? And they are feeling as if they don't match up. Don't fucking try to, I've seen this and I've experienced this. Don't fucking try to bring that person down just because you are insecure in who you are. You know what I mean? Because, and this is not for the person who is making you feel belittled or making you to be less than. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the regular person who is comfortable in where they are.
Right. And they comfortable where you are.
And okay with where you are. Right. But you're not okay with where you are. So therefore you lash out and you react and you attempt to bring them down. You attempt to belittle them.
Right. And that's what Ike's doing.
That's what he's doing.
That's what I feel like Ike is doing.
Yes. And that's the worst shit that a person could do, because that just really goes to show how unstable you are as a human.
That's right. All right, moving on, people. Let's get to Solo Maddie.
And
Allan.
And butterfly shirt.
That's what I'm about to say. I do want to say, as y'all see Allan on the screen, I hate that butterfly shirt. Why do you have on that butterfly shirt? That is my first note in Madison and Allan.
Yo, listen, I just think Allan likes shapes and colors because it's broccoli, it's butterflies, it's I think he had triangles on one time. Like, I just think he just likes, he's an oddball. He's an oddball.
You know what that's given?
What?
He said he had, a troubled childhood or whatever. That's what it's given. This is something to, like, either how I feel I might have missed out on my childhood or I'm still stuck in my childhood. I think that's what it gives.
I would agree with that. But is that a good or a bad thing?
I think it's a bad thing, nigga. You like 60 years old. Take off that butterfly shirt. The fuck is wrong with you?
I'd be like, oh my God, I want to suck your dick, but you got on broccoli drawers.
My nigga, the fuck? And I'm all for the fun. Like, I'm all for the fun personality kind of shit, but it's like levels to it. It's like levels to it. Like, I'm not going to go as far as wearing broccoli drawers. Like say if it's like depending on the time and situation, but if we in the bed and I'm thinking like maybe this might go some sexy time, I ain't gonna wear the broccoli drawers then.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying. Like you got to be able to decipher, I guess, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Decipher when it's cool to be fun. Okay, maybe you might wear the butterfly shirt when we in Thailand and we in the Maldives or something, like, where it fits.
Right.
Not necessarily, when we're going out on a date regularly or some shit. Yeah, I get you. I get
All right. So they did start off by speaking about going out on a date, and Madison said they had a good time, and then we saw there was some static or confusion, and Allan wanted to go home. He wanted to leave their place together, and he wanted to go home to his own place. And I just feel like that wasn't even about that. I feel like he didn't want to stay there with her because in his mind it's like she's not touching me, she's not being affectionate. I feel like he felt like he was sexually like frustrated or just intimacy frustrated in that moment, and that's why he wanted to go home. I think
you.
that whole story of I just want to get a good night's sleep or whatever. Like, what the fuck?
He wanted to go home and beat his dick. That's what he wanted to go home and that's what he wanted to go home and do. He wasn't getting no box.
Right.
So I'm up out of here because I don't want to be tossing and turning in the bed with you and I can't get no box. That's
Facts.
it.
Yeah, facts. That's what I thought that was.
Because this was the dumbest this is the dumbest argument or disagreement. They didn't even argue, but the disagreement ever.
It was extremely dumb. It was
Yeah.
extremely dumb, man. All right. So in those instances, though, do you think that should be a conversation, or should he leave? Like, should he leave if he knows I'm sexually frustrated? Like you said, I'm gonna be tossing and turning. She not with the shits. Should that be in that moment a conversation, or did he do the right thing by leaving?
No, I don't feel like he did the right thing by leaving because, again, I'm one of those individuals that don't like to go to sleep with that heaviness on the heart and the mind. And I'm sure she went to bed a little worried, concerned, upset, whatever the case may be.
But
Just that, huh?
what does that mean?
I know it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
What does that mean? So say it's like, all right, you don't want us to go to bed angry, or you want us to resolve this, or whatever it may be. So I say to you, yo, like we went out, we had a good time. I'm kind of turned up, and you're gonna respond to me how Madison would respond and say, well, I'm not there yet, X, Y, and Z. So you feel better. You about to go to sleep. I don't feel better.
Right. But I would rather you say that. I
Right.
would rather not us have a dumb argument or dumb disagreement and you leave out and say, all right, well, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And I'm expressing to you my concern because I'm coming from a place of concern at this point because all I know is that you're just wanting to drive because you got to get up in the morning. You don't want to sleep bad. Like to me, that's not an excuse. If you would have said, well, I'm hot and I can't do this. I can't sleep with you tonight because of X, Y, and Z. Da 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 da. Then maybe I might have would have understood and I would have. What am I gonna say? Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. But can you please be safe and can you let me know when you get there, or what? I might give you some yams a little bit. Like I don't know. Maybe we can.
Not
Maybe
charity yams.
yeah, sure. I mean, maybe we could meet halfway. Maybe I'm hot and bothered too. Like I was not taking chances here.
I was
He's
definitely,
running.
I was, I was definitely not taking chances, and he's definitely running.
Yes.
But it's like a slippery slope because if he take the chance, that might be the last chance. And Allen, I never had a girl this pretty before. I'm not trying to fuck this up.
Look, you ain't got shit to lose at this point, my nigga, because she doesn't have this. Like that might make her more physically attractive. Maybe she might in her mind be like, all right, fuck it. Why not? We've been drinking. It's been a good vibe. Maybe I might give him some yams. Maybe it might take me into you know, where I might be attracted to him after the sex or whatever the case may be. Like, what you got to lose, Alan?
That's
Well,
right.
to him, I guess a lot, but
To,
for real, you
to
ain't
him,
got much to
to
lose.
him is everything.
Right.
To him is everything. So I feel like in those moments it can get kind of tricky for the guy because if you're Allen, you don't want to blow that up because
Mm.
you don't know what the future holds. In his mind, he's like, if I just be patient, sooner or later she gonna turn the corner and I'm a bit on it and we gonna swerve on it and all. He be like, I'm just if I just be patient, this shit got the chance to turn. But if I shoot my shot right here, if I go for the gusto and blow it up, it's blown up and it's done. So in those moments, it can be confusing for the guy, and
Mm.
I don't know how we want to clarify that moment from an honest conversation to is it worth saying what the real is, and that's where I think a lot of times probably men and women could get lost in deciphering those moments.
Right. Right. I think sometimes, people overthink it and they'll be like, well, if I say the truth, it's going to start a bigger issue. It's going to, you know what I mean? It's going to send it into another stratosphere or whatever the case may be. But I be feeling like, you know me, like I be feeling like, damn, just go ahead and send it into another stratosphere so we can deal with this shit because I don't like walking around in discord. I hate it. I would just rather know exactly how you're looking at me, how you're feeling about me, or, like what you're unhappy about, or what is the tension about, um, or what the issue is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get causing the strife a little bit just to say, oh, and he just kept saying, oh, I do what I want to do. I don't like being told what to do or whatever the case may be. But she had a genuine concern. And as we found out later on during the therapy sessions, that it was a genuine concern from past traumas of hers. So you did all of that. And now you're saying, oh, well, if I had a known that, then I wouldn't have did it. Why did you have to do it? You know what I mean?
I mean, those are
Yeah.
those moments where
Mhm.
sometimes you feel like I gotta do that because I don't want to blow
Right.
this shit up.
Right.
I don't want to blow this shit up, but I mean, sometimes you gotta blow the shit up.
Mhm.
That's what it is. Sometimes you just gotta blow the shit up because
Right.
that's more respected, I guess. And you can sit around. You're gonna be waiting forever, Al. you gonna be waiting forever, Al. So as they're sitting in their session or whatever, that point of it comes out where he says, I'm tired of the good guy shit.
He's having his whole little confession though. I get it.
Yeah. He was like, I'm tired of the good guy shit. Like, oh, that sounds good. Like, that's cool. But that doesn't lead to attraction or intimacy. So it was like, where do we get there or how do we get there? He was like, you ain't had no problem hugging on David. But
Yo, when he
uh,
said that,
when he said that, I think it went under the radar. I
shit,
think
it
it went
ain't going under my
Yeah,
radar.
it didn't go under my radar. I heard it loud and clear, but I don't think
Honestly.
she atoned for it. I don't think she even atoned for it or like barely heard, what he was specifically saying. And it's
Yeah.
just like, all right, it's one thing for you to be friendly with the girls, but I can't even get a hug from you, and I'm your
Uh-huh.
husband, and you freely hug this nigga.
Facts. Facts. And if we can recall back to some of the earlier episodes, she says, oh, I don't really hug people that I don't know that much. Like this is that. No, you just don't want to hug me.
Right.
And it's evident.
Right. So yeah, he was asking her, how or is there anything attractive about me? And she said, that's a weird. Is that a weird question?
No, that's not a fucking weird question.
How is that a fucking weird question? Is there
Yes.
anything that you find attractive about me? I'll crack you in your motherfuckers. Call me.
Thanks. And I don't think that's a weird question. That's an honest, genuine question that should, in fact, be answered. What she didn't want to answer it. This is why she said that's a weird question. Because she didn't want to answer it. She didn't want to say in front of Dr. Pepper,
Right,
no.
right.
She didn't want to, for whatever reason.
But
Dr. Pepper might have offered her some fucking tips or
like once again, I feel like it's the same flip flop. It's the same thing as Allan didn't want to say the truth in his moment, and she didn't want to say the
want to say
truth
the
in her
truth in
moment.
her moment. I'll be over it. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted with it
I
all.
told you this whole episode was triggering me. This whole
I
episode was triggering
know.
me because these are real life, realistic moments.
Very much. Very much.
So, any more questions or thoughts on Allan and Madison?
Um, no, I just feel like I just feel like, Alan saying that he jumped over, the bailiff trying to get to the judge and stuff kind of gives you a red flag in a sense of, some maybe anger issues that Alan might be going to display coming up, just small little things about Alan that's probably getting ready to pop off. But I also feel like for me, Alan is, can I say wishy-washy?
What you mean by that?
All right. So I feel like there are days where his balls are hanging.
Okay.
He's like, so let's see. I don't dress right. Let's see. I'm not, cool enough or whatever he says. And then he's like, so, what is it? What, what do I gotta do? She's not attracted to me. Like, he gets some balls about him, right? But he doesn't stick to him. Like, I feel like he gets soft when he's in her presence.
What you expect a nigga to do? I never had a girl this beautiful before.
Fuck all that beauty shit.
Of course I'm going to get soft in front of her. I want her. She's the most beautiful girl I ever had. This is how niggas are. This is why I be trying to explain to y'all. Y'all act like this is a normal thing for these niggas. It's not. Most niggas is not. Don't get girls on a regular. They're not comfortable around beautiful girls. They never had. They be just like Allan. They don't know what to do, and they will do anything to get that and keep that beautiful girl.
That's just, I don't know. I just be feeling like Alan some days just get the gusto, and then other times he just lets it deflate. And it's just like, Alan, you just lost in the middle right now.
Nah, that's normal frustrations. Like I speak, that's just when you see him and you be like, all right, Allan showed some balls. That's his frustrations bleeding over. So when his frustrations bleed over, yeah, he's going to show it. It's because you can't help that. You can't control that. Once your
Right.
frustrations bleed over, you can't. It's like it's going to show. So
Yeah.
so when you see him showing instances of having balls or whatever, that's what that is. That's his frustrations bleeding over. But
Yeah.
he if I don't know, because we saw some crazy shit in the sneak previews or whatever, but if none of that shit ever happens, he will stay there and rock and do whatever the fuck and be patient for 3, 4, 5 years trying to get her to come around.
Yeah, he cray. Cray. Because let me tell you something. Give her a little, you tell her a little something. Maybe she might be like, oh, Alan, like maybe stand on some of your shit and be like, oh, that X, Y, and Z. Maybe she might see a little different side that might trigger a little something that might make a clit throb or something. I don't know. Do try something, Alan. It's always like, oh, well, I didn't know. Maybe now I understand. Like, what?
As far as that whole See, I don't want to be insensitive of people's trauma or childhood story. Why
Right.
you laughing? Because you know what I'm about to say.
Yes,
I'm about to
I
say.
know. I
I
know
don't
what you're
want to
about to
be
say.
insensitive. But who gives a fuck? Like, that story was like, that ain't have shit to do with nothing. And it was like, I hate that people be like, everybody got traumas, everybody got shit,
Yeah, facts.
whatever it may be. But I hate when people be like, and this could be a bad thing or a good thing because I did say, everybody's normal is not your normal or whatever. But that should be normal to us.
Yeah, facts. 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 And I be feeling like too, some people just be using some shit as like
Crutch.
a crutch. Like, and I feel like Madison was getting ready to get hit with hard
Right.
questions. Madison was getting ready to get hit with some hard points
Hmm.
about her not connecting with him on a physical level or just a more connective um level. And I feel like it was easy for her to just fall into, since Alan has shared his story, that's like for her to fall into, well, let me just start the waterworks. Like for
Right.
me, and I don't want to take away from, like you said, from traumas if she was expressing it in the most heartfelt, vulnerable state. Kudos to you because sometimes we need the purge. I get it. But I just feel like for her, some of that should just be a little phony.
A lot for me.
Okay.
A lot for me, man.
Okay.
A lot for me, man. But
Yeah.
well, we'll speak about what happens with them in a little bit. We'll get back to them. We'll get back to them. Let's go to who started off as our favorite couple and now is the most boring couple on the show, Juan and Carla. So let's go to Juan and Carla. Juan and Carla.
Juan and Carla.
All right. I did tell you, Ish, that Carla said her clients did follow her.
Yeah.
So she still was working at home with her clients from the beauty salon. So shout out to Carla. She got a visit from one of her friends. Though this is the question: do you have friends who keep you grounded or check you?
hmm Yeah, both.
Okay.
Yep, I have friends that, well, I don't have a lot. My circle is very small. But the ones that are around me, they definitely keep me grounded and centered, and be like, yeah, Isha, blah." But they also will pull my coattail and be like, yo, you bugging. Or yo, you doing X, Y, and Z. Or yo, you out of pocket. So I have the best of I have the best in my circle.
I feel like that's kind of tricky for me
hmm
because first and foremost, as men, we don't have those certain conversations,
hmm
and a lot of times I'll be like, "Am I tripping?"
hmm
And I feel like people think I'm always tripping.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like the people who know me best always feel like I'm tripping because,
hmm
and whether I'm tripping or not, a lot of it be because those are things that they just like settle and are content with and like just let fly by, and I don't like tend to do that.
hmm So, like, for me, especially in certain conversations and even with my friends and shit, when you say, okay, even the people that know me sometimes know or say that I'm tripping like all the time or whatever the case may be. Like, where does the perspective come in and understanding like your responsive behaviors and why you would be tripping or why you would be doing or saying certain things. Like, I think some people don't go a further step into understanding those things. Like when you consciously sit and try to dissect shit, and not just be on the fly and be responsive to what you're seeing or hearing, and truly trying to understand why it's being done or why it's being said or what X, Y, and Z, you will kind of understand sometimes that most motherfuckers ain't tripping.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. And that's what I was about to say. And that's what I was about to say. So that's why I said it's hard for me, because it could be like, and I don't, this may be a bad example, but this is the way I gotta phrase it so people could just keep up. So it's like, if you at home getting your ass beat, but if I'm at home and I'm like, nigga, I'm not gonna be getting my ass beat, you might be like, you tripping. Because you at home getting your ass beat. and you let it rock.
Facts. Or if you're saying, okay, well, such and such and such said that my breath stink. Like, I'm just using like a simple example. Okay, such and such and such said my breath stink, and I cussed that motherfucker out and said, no, nigga, that's your breath. And they'd be like, oh, you tripping. Well, that's because you gonna sit there and take criticism when not necessary. And I'm just using that as a small thing, but just let's just speak of a criticism in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, some people can think that if you're speaking out against the criticism, that's tripping, because they're going to sit there and then just accept the criticism. So that's what I mean. Like, some people just don't break it down. So they just surface level. Oh, why are you saying that? Or why are you doing that? But did you really think about why I'm done? Maybe because you won't do it.
Right. And there's going to be instances where people don't understand, why you're reacting or why you are the way you react, because they didn't go through what you went through. Right. They didn't go through what you went through. And those would never have conversations that you had, so people would understand or know what you went through. So they may, in essence, look at you and be like, yo, you tripping. But no, nigga, you don't know what I've been through.
Right. That's facts. And I just be feeling like people, their perception of things sometimes don't always just equal up. People judge people or base things off of how they would respond or how they would react or whatever the case may be. And if you're doing something outside of their norm, it's abnormal.
Right. So let's see where we are, man. All right. Juan and Carla. All right, so Carla's talking to her friend and they're having a conversation. I told you this episode was triggering for me. They're having a conversation and Carla is saying, what do I do to make him, or to get your partner to make you feel wanted and or desired?
Well, a motherfucker who, see, that was one of the things that triggered me.
That's what I'm saying, man. This was a triggering episode, man.
I don't know. I don't know. This was definitely because wow. How can I say this? A motherfucker should already want you. Like if we're together, that should be there.
Right.
I don't want it if it's not. I don't want it if I gotta do something to make you, or to outline, or to project onto you what I feel you want to desire me. Like, I'm not taking notes to do that. I'm sorry. I'm not.
That's a fact. That's why I hate it. That's why I hate it, because I think that's fucking ridiculous. I think this is
It
just fucking
is.
ridiculous. I'm so appalled. This shit is fucking ridiculous. This shit is fucking
Mhm.
ridiculous. So her answer was, she told the friend that I'm gonna be more open with him and I'm gonna meet him in the middle. And I know he like looks at me in my free spirit ways compared to his structured ways. And she said I'm going to try to bring some structure to myself and maybe that will, you know, change his view of me and make him want me and desire me. So that was her answer. I still say eat a dick to all of that shit. That was her answer. And I mean, we'll see if it works.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
she took Juan to Pilates class. Have you ever done Pilates or would you do Pilates?
I would definitely do Pilates. I've never done it.
Hmm.
It definitely would be something that I would like to try.
Hmm.
I think it would be very centering for me. So yeah, I would be down to try.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
do. I've never done, but I would do Pilates. I gotta be careful because I might get injured. You be doing a lot of
Hmm.
flexibility shit on my leg.
Yeah.
I might get
Yeah.
injured, but I would still do it. I would still do
Yeah.
it. So she was trying to show Juan, examples of this is the kind of shop I would want to have. Like I would want to have a place like this where I could do hair. And then on the other end, I would be able to do Pilates or have my spiritual shit when it comes to the crystal and the beads. Do you believe in the whole crystal and beads energy thing?
I do. I have lots of crystals. Definitely feel like they hone in and they tap into the spirit and just, the energy and connecting you to a higher way of thinking, a higher way of feeling, and higher way of vibrating. I definitely do. Keep one with me wherever, in my bag, at my desk at work, at home, by the nightstand. Yeah, I'm with all of that.
Um, I'll say I was introduced to, those things. And I'm kind of in the middle. I'm kind of,
Mhm.
as you see my bracelet, I'm kind of in the middle of it because some people like Carla live their whole life like based
Right.
in that kind of thing, and they were like, you gotta have the crystals. Like some, I see people who wear their crystals every day, and like
Mhm.
they speak their manifestations and everything. Like, so I'm in the middle. Like I believe in it, and I do think it's a thing. I just
Mhm.
don't wake up like, let me do my Zen shit
Right. Yeah.
and be
Yeah.
on it like 24/7. But I do think it's a thing.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
I do want to say about Carla as her and Juan was on the Pilates doing Pilates. Um, I would have smashed Carla on the Pilates bench.
But Juan, he was peeking over, but
She was looking
something's
nice.
yeah, something's not connecting.
Her little butt was poking out a little bit.
Yeah, a little poking out. And
Yeah.
a couple other things is poking out too.
So I'm saying she had a little bit going on. I would have smashed on the Pilates bitch. I'm sorry, Pilates teacher. I had to go for the gusto.
Juan would never.
Yeah, why would never? Why
Juan would
why would
never.
never? All right. So as they wrapped up Pilates and they were going through the whole crystal thing and everything, there was a question proposed of what is your superpower. So what is your superpower?
Um, what is my superpower? My superpower is the ability to um
What the fuck?
because I wanted to say one thing, and then I'm like, no, I'm not gonna say
It felt like I heard it in my brain.
it. But just try to keep that in your brain and just know that I'm quite sure that we're here. But no, if I had to be serious and I had to be in a behaving space or just in a space, I would say that I feel like I have the ability to just um I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like I have an ability to connect well with people. I might not even be able expressing that right, but I just have the ability to connect with individuals to where they're comfortable with me. Like I'm a safe space. That's my superpower. I feel like I am a safe space.
Okay. Okay. That's
Yeah.
that's a great answer. That's a great answer
Yeah.
because
Wish
people
because
need
what?
people need
Yeah,
people need
true.
that, and most people are not that. So that
Right.
is a great answer. He
Mhm.
said laughter. She said her intuition and her understanding, which is both or all three of those are great things.
Yeah.
As far as my superpower, um, I don't know if I could say this, but why you laughing? You don't even know what I'm about to say.
I know. I know, but we just had these goofy moments, so
Yeah,
I
I
feel
feel
like
like
it's gonna be some shit.
yeah, it's about to be some shit. It's about to be some shit. I feel like my superpower is that I have all the superpowers. So I'm sorry. Which superpower do you need today? Which one you need today?
What you need to say?
Which one you need to say? So I'll say my superpower is versatility. I'll say my superpower is
Okay,
versatility, man. That's what
that's
I'll
a good one. That's a
say.
good one.
That's what I'll
That's a
say.
good one. I love it. You said, "What? I got all the
You know what
superpowers."
I'm saying? Which one you need today? That's all. Which one you need
That.
today, man? All
Yeah, I
right.
like that. I like that.
So Juan was happy that she's doing something and not just being like walking around in an airy space of whatever happens. Like I'm a free
Right.
spirit. I'm Carla. I do still want to reiterate that Carla is a super beautiful girl. She's a really
Yeah,
beautiful
she
girl.
is.
She's
Yeah,
a
she
really beautiful
is.
girl. And the fact that Juan didn't smash yet is I feel like he's on some gay shit. but
Yeah,
I'm gonna let him rock. And
we saw that.
as happy as Juan was, he still wasn't touching her. I pay attention to body language. He still wasn't touching her.
Nope, he wasn't in her space. Like they had a great day full of energy.
Mm,
Okay. Whatever kind of energy that might have
right.
been. And he still they did like he ain't even staying close to her for real. Like
Facts.
they don't even be in the same vicinity of one another. They
Facts.
don't even be in reaching touching distance.
Facts. So I don't know what's where we at with Juan and Carla. He's in his space, she's in her space, and they say hi to each other sometimes, I guess.
Right, right. I didn't. So from a I'm going to go into the zodiac real quick, but from a Leo to a Leo, like I didn't. I admired the fact that she took notice of something that he wanted from her to be more attentive, her to circle in and hone in off of her, free flowing spirit horse and kind of have like a game plan or discuss strategies and ideas and kind of take a page from his book. Um, but I think that's fake. Like
Was it? You
I
think
felt,
she was making fake moves?
yeah.
Of course,
Like yeah, I felt it was so like fake. Like
and that's why
if
we
it
said earlier, like you shouldn't have to do all of those things just to
right,
be wanted and desired.
yeah, she felt like to me it was like I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna like take a notes
Mm,
and like we're at a table where we're like talking to one another and I'm here with a notepad and a book
mm.
and I mean a notepad and a pen and I'm like taking notes and it just didn't feel genuine. It felt like,
Right, it's
okay,
not.
I'm doing this for you because I want you to see that, okay, I can be this. it's not really how I want to be or really how I am, but I can be this.
Because people don't understand that to feel wanted and desired, as we speak on Pilates and crystals and all those things, it's an energy. And that energy shouldn't always be, in some instances, it will be created. But I feel like it should just naturally be there. If it's not naturally there and you're creating it all the time, it's like, damn, I gotta go build this house for her to say hi to me. Like, my nigga.
Like what? Like what? So let me ask you this. Do you feel like if a person is, let's just say, like you are like just in a space and you're there, right? And your person or just, somebody of interest or whatever sees something grander or uh more from you than you might see from yourself at that time. Would Are you open to listening to that to say, okay, well maybe I will take their advice, or maybe they are right. Maybe it like kickstart something in you or whatever the case may be, or do you just feel like, no, they trying to get me to be something that I'm not?
I guess it depends on what it is necessarily. I
Right.
guess depends on what it is necessarily. I'll always be open to listening, but I'll never move in the energy of doing something that I'm not.
Right. Right. I
So
got
I'm always going to be genuine to myself, and how I want, or things that I want. I don't believe in all that kind of extra shit. It's
extra shit.
because it gets kind of tricky, because it's like, if you talk to a woman and you could say a blanket statement to a woman and say, no, she's not sucking my dick. And then the first thing of response from a woman is going to be, well, what are you doing to get her to suck your dick?
Right. Yeah, we've had those discussions. Yeah.
If I gotta do something, I want my dick sucked. Like, what is sucking
Yeah.
dick? What you talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah, I'm gonna just go where
I'm
this
never
bitch
gonna,
wanna.
to a woman, I'm never going to put her in a space to where, as though I'm gonna be like, well, what are you doing to make me want to eat your pussy?
Right.
How would
Right.
that sound?
Right. Right.
Like,
Right.
I need people to understand the back and forth of that. How does that
Right.
sound when you hear it on the reverse side?
On the reverse side. Right. It sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, right. It sounds
It
stupid.
sounds ridiculous. Yeah. It sounds stupid as shit.
It sounds stupid, man. All right, last but not least, people, we got the only couple that are fucking, I guess. We got the only couple that are fucking, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's Thomas and Camille. And although that I'm glad that they're in a happy space and they are moving in an upward direction, it starts off with Thomas crying again.
I know. He's such a little lump. He is such a little lump, Thomas.
The nigga said, I really miss my daddy. He held me accountable for my shit. I don't feel like nobody holds me accountable anymore, even though I'm fucking 52 fucking years old. Well,
Man,
42 years old, sorry. He's
42.
42 years old talking about, I miss my daddy. He's the only person who held me accountable. Come on, my nigga. You ain't got to keep crying all the fucking time.
Yeah, he definitely has been displaying his super duper emotional, vulnerable side to her. Like he has it all out on the table. Um, and it's only going to continue to work as if she really adores that
Right.
softness in him.
Right. At some point, she might just be like, nigga, I already said you were soft.
Now, nigga, you is fluff. Like you
Facts.
is fluff. Like this is too much.
Now, and every time I turn around, you being soft. All right.
Mhm.
So then she ended up crying. And she was crying about talking about how her parents got divorced at 10 and she had to take over, and they called that the parentified child effect, where a part of your childhood is either lost or changed because you become like a parent in a sense to your younger siblings. And once again, I don't mean to be insensitive, but
Who gives a fuck?
who gives a fuck? This is normal shit. This is like regular shit that a lot
Right.
of people dealt with, and
Right.
you'll sit around crying about it.
Right. Right. And I think what the experts are attempting to do right now is unfuck the fuckery.
Right.
Really. Unfuck the fuckery. Because now I think they're just attempting to say, okay, this is a shit show.
Yeah, they gotta save
Uh,
face now.
They gotta save face now. So now we're gonna apply it to trauma.
Okay.
We're gonna apply this
Everything.
whole everything that y'all got going on, this whole fuckery that y'all made of this fucking show. We're gonna apply it to trauma and your childhood and what you didn't have and what you're missing now.
That's like this. That's like this. Each if I came home one day and I was like, you was like, I want to talk to you, and I was like, no, that's when I was in the third grade. You know, something like I got a beating when I was in third grade. I don't feel like talking right now, Ish. I'm having a moment.
I'm gonna be like, all right, well, you have your moment, right? I'm gonna go in the other room and I'm gonna text my girlfriend and be like, bitch, this nigga just told me that he couldn't talk to me because when he was in the third grade,
He got a
like,
beating. He
he
got
got
a
a
beating.
beat. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga? Let me fucking run. Run. I
Yes,
can't.
I mean, we're not going to make fun of people's trauma, and
No,
yes,
because we
that
all have it.
right,
Like, well, some
and
way,
yes,
shape,
that is the thing. But you don't live and you don't make excuses for that shit for your whole fucking life. Like, get your fucking shit together, dog.
mm-mm. Right.
Get
And
your
if you know that it's there, it shouldn't take someone else to bring it out of you for you to express yourself or to let it go or to release it or to heal it. Like, sure, people can maybe pull your coattail and say, oh, well, maybe this is the reason why X, Y, and Z. But what is it that you're going to do, right, to heal or to help that portion of you that's feeling a lack of or feeling sensitive to, or whatever the case may be, so that you can function as an adult
That's a fact.
in a relationship that you chose?
That's a fact. All right, I got a question for you. They had to write these letters, right? I guess was it 10 or just childhood? I guess maybe 10 years old. They had to write these letters to their 10-year-old selves. Um, because you're a female, I'm gonna ask you: is that a thing that like they be like crying and shit? They be like, I told it to my 10-year-old self, and I told my 10-year-old self that your life is going to be a little bit crazy, but you'll get over it and be strong. I'd be like, what is happening right
All
now?
right, so I wrote a letter
I cannot.
to myself. Right. Say no, it's just a piece of mail, y'all. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But listen, so let me tell y'all this. Um, I went to everybody knows I went to Bartram. I went to the Motivation Annex, and our English teacher,
That means
Miss
she is a smart yo.
okay. So our English teacher, Miss Cav, had us write a letter in the state that we were then. Make it address an envelope to ourselves, put a stamp on it, and in 20 years, the school would mail it out,
Okay.
or a teacher or a responsible recipient or whatever would mail those letters out. My mom calls me one day and she like, it's a letter here from you. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about, Mom? It's a letter here from you. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but all right, I'll get it the next time I slide
You
past.
forgot all about that shit.
I forgot all about the letter. And it was a letter from me at that time, but to my older self,
Right.
right? I feel like that can be beneficial if no, it cannot be. I'm sorry.
You
I'm sorry.
tried.
I tried.
You tried to make it work. You
I
tried to
try.
make it
I
work.
really do. You know, I be getting benefit of the doubt and shit. I try. Can't
Listen,
find a damn
this
thing.
is one exercise that I've seen on a number of shows and I never got it. And I was like, maybe it's a female thing. Like maybe females be like they go through stuff where they lose their virginity or whatever happened, whatever it may be, and it's an emotional tie to like their 10-year-old selves or whatever. And I be like, I can go back to my 10-year-old self. Like I could go in my mind, I could go back to my 10-year-old self. It's like, will I have emotions about certain things? Maybe. Certain things I will have emotions about. But if I wrote a letter to my 10-year-old self and then read that letter, I'm not gonna cry because I did that.
I know. Thomas was choking up at everything. It was just like, listen, are you about to cry again, sir?
I'll be confused and like,
Both of
why?
their letters was corny, though. I'm sorry.
Both of their letters was corny. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Both of their letters was corny. I didn't see it. I think it was a good connecting exercise for the couples. I just don't really see the purpose of it. They connected in a way where they got to do something and they read it out to each other and they had a drink and they sat down and they chit chatted about it. But the actual exercise itself didn't mean much in my opinion.
Yo, if I ever sit down and we do that exercise, I'm gonna be looking at the girl like, why the fuck are we doing this dumb shit? Like, we could just sit here. I'd rather just sit here and talk to you.
Hey, I want your letter to your 10-year-old
You
self
right.
on my text
You
message
right.
tomorrow morning.
I'm not fucking writing that shit. That shit is fucking dumb, man. That shit is
Look,
fucking dumb. That shit is.
look, you probably gonna send some dumb shit
I
like
would have. I'll
10
be
year
making shit up.
10
I'll be creating shit up. I read a whole fucking crazy shit. You'll be like,
You're right.
what
The fuck is
the
this?
fuck?
Be like, this is where that mind is.
Yes.
Too funny. But yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm staying away from that dumb shit, man.
yeah.
All right, so um like I said, once they got to have a normal conversation, they started speaking about triggers or whatever, and being it okay for both of them being to be vulnerable with each other, which I thought was a good point. So maybe the exercise is to break you down to let you know that you can be vulnerable with each other. But I don't think you need the exercise to know and do that. But some people are stupid and retarded, so I guess they need some kind of incentive or
Yeah.
example to put them in that space. I will just say to you, it's okay to be
Right.
vulnerable, and let's
Right.
be vulnerable and speak about our
And let's be
triggers.
vulnerable. Some people need a something to follow, I guess.
Right, right. All right. So she said, he was asking her what her trigger was or what she needed, and she said she needed reassurance. And he promised. Oh, she said she needed reassurance because she said niggas be lying to her. I want to make sure I get all the information out. She said niggas be pretending to be one way, just to
Right.
get her, and then they end up being something else. So he made a promise to always be his true self to her. So yeah, Camille and Thomas are moving along in an upward direction. Um, as far as we see, they don't have any real roadblocks right now. They
Mm-mm.
and this is what happens when you start fucking.
Yeah, thanks. You can solidly, consciously move forward in a good space. And if something, a curveball or some bullshit come your way, Okay, well, you can work through it a little bit and you can fuck it out. Like,
Facts.
he was not understanding that that's such a good thing.
That's a fact. Fuck it out. Fuck it out.
Fuck it
Fuck
out.
it out. Fuck it out. Fuck it out. Fuck it out. Fuck it out. All right. So as we wrap up, let's just speak on a couple of the things that's going on in the sneak peek. I'm tired of seeing the sneak peeks of the wild shit. And we not getting the wild shit yet. Just get to the wild shit. Yeah, where's the wild shit? Let's get right to the wild shit. Let's get right to the wild shit. I'm tired of them playing around on the notion that David and Madison smashed. I'm tired of them playing around on the notion. Let's just see that David and Madison smashed. Like, let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Because I hear sexting,
Right.
I hear hooking up, I hear, oh, well, I wasn't acting like I'm dancing on a stripper pole. So that must mean she was popping pussy on them. Like, I just want to know what's happening right now.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm interested in seeing the fireworks. I do want to. What was that point? Somebody said something. I don't know if it was Michelle or Madison, but somebody said, what the fuck did she say? What did they say in the sneak peek, John Ish? One of them says something awesome. Oh, it's Michelle saying you had sex with my friend or you sexted my friend. And I hope she's not speaking about Madison because Madison is not your friend.
Yeah, that's facts. But I would hope that it wasn't none of those ugly boogers that were like popped up, like that did her hair or cut his hair or that styled him, because neither one of them looked like none. So, David, I hope it ain't one of those friends.
I cannot.
I can't. Hopefully she is talking about Madison.
So we do see Iky-Ra and Emem still at it, still at the war of words. He said something like, she said something like, and then he said, "Yeah, you jumped right in the pool or some shit."
Yeah, I ain't mean for it. I don't want to have to tiptoe. Don't nobody want to have to tiptoe. No, you jumped in like a pool. What did he say?
Some crazy shit. Some crazy shit. But I'm over them. I'm over them. Like I said, Iky-Ra, you're an asshole, dog. That's all it is. You're an asshole, dog. And each tried to shoot you some bell and, you know, give you a little out with your insecurities. And I think that whole insecurity shit is a deflection of, he said it's hard to answer questions.
Yeah, and they tackled that a little bit. I think it was Dr. Pia or somebody said, or they're going to say maybe in the future, maybe it was a clip. What doesn't he want to answer? Why doesn't he want to answer? What is he running from? Is he running from some truth that he doesn't want anyone to know?
I don't know why it's hard to answer questions when she's not asking you hard questions.
She not.
There's a difference between somebody asking you hard questions that are hard to answer. She be asking him regular, normal, easy shit.
Yeah, that's just the shit that you ask somebody when you want to get to know. I know that I have like gotten people that'll just ask me all type of questions because they just want to know about you. Like they're interested in understanding your mind or just about you or whatever the case may be. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that.
He's acting like she was like, yo, tell me about when you was 12 and then somebody stuck the broom up your butt.
Right.
Now, that's a hard conversation.
Yeah, no, that's some shit. That's some shit.
This ain't that, nigga.
Right, but he's very evasive.
She just was like, what do you think about looking at the wedding book? Why are you asking me a question about looking at the wedding book? What?
You just can't be in the moment.
Calm down.
It is being in the moment, my nigga.
Calm down, nigga. But like I said, he just wants her to shut up and be there, man. And I think she's going to try to do that, but she's not going to be able to control herself, and that's why it's always going to be a bubble fuck because he wants her to shut up, and she can't shut up. She likes to talk. She likes to have conversations. Some people are conversational people, and some people just like to be there. And so that's why I say, man, meet your match or find your match or whatever.
Yeah, that's
All right, wrapping up. Is anybody else gonna make it?
I say the only people that's going to make it that's going to say yes because they haven't had anything dramatic that would really scare them saying no is Camille and Thomas.
Facts.
I think teetering the line is Juan and Carla. I can see them saying yes. I just don't know if they will have much longevity. You know what I mean? Because they haven't had anything really dramatic that would stop them from saying no, but I just don't know if they will have longevity if they say yes, right?
Facts.
And then everybody else, no, live wires. They explosive.
That's a fact. All right.
Because Allan is spiraling.
Allan is spiraling.
Allan is going to spiral these next few episodes.
Allan is definitely spiraling, and that's what happens when you don't get none. You spiral. you see, I'm sorry, it's the truth. When you're constantly around somebody and you are attracted to them, and they're not attracted to you, that is fireworks.
Yeah,
that's fireworks. Because at
Allan.
some point you're gonna want to touch them, and they're not gonna want to touch you.
Allan, that's crazy.
Poor Allan.
I wouldn't know what that'd be like, but I hear it's a lot of that goes around.
I can't. Go get your broccoli draws and call it a day.
All right.
Go get your broccoli draws and call it a day, man. Poor Allan, man. Okay, people, that is our wrap up or our recap for Married at First Sight, season 18, episode 11. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button, like and share the video, hit that live bell notification so you don't miss a thing. I'm excited to see next Tuesday's episode as we wind down to decision day. I hope. Yeah, this is gonna be crazy if two of the cast members fucked outside of their marriage.
Yeah, that's facts. I can't wait to see this revelation and what exactly it is.
Crazy, because they play around with the edits and they play around with shit. So, do you believe it? That's what I'm gonna ask you. Do you?
Yeah, I definitely believe something was happening.
I'm talking. Do you believe it was them too?
Oh, yeah. I think it's them too, but it just may not be nothing like like extensive. But you know what I mean? I think it's them too, though.
Michelle said you sent me a text that said you wanted to eat my booty or something, but that wasn't supposed to be.
David.
Yeah, David.
I'm doing my little dance. Yeah, David. That's what I'm talking about. Send that shit. Talk that dirty shit. But just make sure you send it to the right person, though, David. Like, that's the answer.
Well, both of their names do start with an M, so it can be a little tricky. It can be a little tricky. Tricky. Look, imagine you in your phone and you just doing your regular text shit, but both of them is like that. There, you know how you look at your text and everybody's jaws right there, and you just
get it right though. Yeah, Yeah, no, I'm making sure that I'm sending the right text to the right person. Like, please stop the nonsense. Come on, you gotta be more. You gotta do better, David. You gotta do better.
I'm not gonna lie and say that it has never happened to me because it has.
Somebody said, "Why you getting so triggered about that? It happened to you?" Yes, it has. It has happened to me, but not with my person, just in general. So yeah, it pissed me off because it's like, man, you really not getting a shot. Like you're a cornball. Like, you know what I mean? But no, it's not a triggering thing. It's just like get your shit together. Like get your shit straight. Make sure you're sending it to the right person. Cornball. Oh no, I'm sorry, T. You said you did that before. You're not a cornball.
Like, goddamn.
Look, I'm like, oh wait. Oh
Like,
wait, yeah, I'm sorry.
I got there, but
But just you got to be more careful,
yeah,
T. You
you got
got
to
to
be
be
more
more.
careful.
You got to be more
You got to be
careful.
more careful. But in my defense, I was like high off pain pills.
Okay. Okay.
I was high on pain pills, so I
Okay.
wasn't in my right mind.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah. If you wasn't in your right mind now, if
And
you're in your right mind,
I wasn't actually like sexting or it was like some regular
right.
shit. Like I'm
Just regular
hungry.
shit. Right. And it's like, oh shit, I didn't mean to send that to her. What the second time?
Right. Yeah, it was enough a while like that. But
Yes.
we will see y'all after next Tuesday's episode. Make sure y'all are caught up, so y'all are following along with the storyline. If anybody has any questions, make sure y'all put those in the comment section as well. Like we said, nobody's making it. Sorry, nobody's making it. But I'm still interested to see how it plays out, man. Because even though it's been a shit show, it has been entertainment, and I'm against the toxicity, but it's been a good reflection, I'll say.
Yeah, I agree.
It's been a good reflection, I'll say.
I agree. So, I learned some shit.
Definitely, definitely. If you watch this and you ain't learned nothing, then shame on you.
Facts.
Shame on you. Man. Shame on you. But Married at First Sight, man. We'll see y'all next time, people. Deuces.